Josh, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. So, I have only been to a singular national. Been to big card shows. Been to the Nashville Card Show. Been to some larger regional shows, but only one national. How about you? How many have you been to?
Ooh, great question. Five maybe.
Ooh,
Last five in a row, maybe.
at you.
I'm
And you
thinking.
are heading back there to Chicago this year.
Got my ticket right
So
here.
there you go. So, what has changed? What was the very first national? What year?
The very first national I went to was in a place I don't even know if they're going to do it there anymore. It was in Atlantic City,
Mm-hmm. New
and
Jersey.
and maybe I'm biased because it was my first one. I liked that one,
Of
and no
course
one
you
else
would.
seems to have liked it. But I thought the area was decent, and yeah, I don't know. I liked that one. But yeah, you know what has changed is cellular service has gotten a little better each year. Do you
Well,
remember?
what year was that? Do you remember? It was 2020? Was it 2020?
It
Was
would
it
have been after
pre-COVID?
that, 2021, right?
Where you're wearing a mask.
Let's ask. No, I don't. Let's ask Gemini. What year was the National Card Convention last in Atlantic City? The National Sports 2022, which makes sense. So I would have gone to 22, 23, 24, 25, and this would make 26. So this would make the fifth.
Okay, so 2022, let's think back. So you're saying so other than cell service, Joshua, what has
Uh,
changed most in the hobby
they've gotten
since then?
busier. They've gotten busier. I mean, breaking was going strong back then.
Mhm.
So it was, I think whatnot hadn't become a thing yet. And so maybe the following year, whatnot had a huge presence at the show. But um, yeah, I would say the presence of breaking has gotten huge. It's just gotten busier and busier and busier. The lines have gotten longer and longer and longer, which is always a sign that the hobby is just
Yeah.
growing. So yeah, I have a bad memory, so this could be a hard one for me.
So when did you and I go?
We
It
would have
was that
went
was 20,
24.
okay, so 2024. Yeah,
Or
2020.
23.
I think it may have even been 23, Josh.
23 because yeah, last year I went alone. The year before I went with a friend, and then the year before I went with y'all.
So, so I'm going to take a couple things off the board. Obviously, Topps acquiring the licenses is huge. So we're going to take that off the board. I think for me, and it's along the same sort of thing that you were saying, how it's just grown and grown and grown. I just think, and we've mentioned this before, I just think the collector today is super educated, even more so than the collector back then. And maybe I'm just talking about myself. I was still making very, very silly purchases back then. Just silly. Not even because I love the guy or I'm a collector or, it was just trying to follow the hype train and trying to catch that train and then eventually getting either left by the train or run over by the train.
I think you'll have that type of collector at every national because with this latest boom, there's a lot of guys that are back in the hobby, and I get the same kind of novice questions in the shop all the time. And not that I'm some huge veteran, but I'm 10 years back in. So,
Yeah.
uh, and I see all the questions every day. So I think there's going to be plenty of you from 2023 at the national in 2026. But going back to the busyness of it, and not to sound like a negative Nelly because I'm still going, but it's almost gotten too busy. Like there was an upstairs portion last year and
Mm-hmm.
where they could add some more and I'm not a big guy and I could barely fit in there and it was you had to just duck down and kind of squeeze through. Good luck getting a spot at a table to open up, but it was like I found a table. He had a little honey hole of Brady cards. We made a deal on a handful of them, and then I got them and just kind of wiggled out. So I got to get out of here. It was sardines would have felt squished in there, but
Uh,
so that's kind of an issue.
yeah.
It's just too. And when I joke around and say I didn't buy the VIP pass, I just bought the general admission pass, and I had to get in line, and the line was a mile long. And you think that's hyperbole, but it was legitimately a mile long. It
It was
wrapped.
hot too, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
This was in Cleveland, and it wrapped around, and you'd see people get out and come up to where we were at, and we're like, oh, the end of the line is there, and you look about as far as you can see. And that's just the corner where it turned and then went another way around the building, and it was just mind blowing. The general admission line. So,
What's think back to that first national. What's a purchase you'll never forget at your first national?
um,
Asking a guy that has a terrible memory.
yeah. So the first national I went, I bought an Obsidian. No. Panini Black Tom Brady autograph, numbered to 5. It was over my budget of what I wanted to spend, but the guy made a super fair offer on it. And I remember like blowing the budget I had in my head out of the water. It's just, you can't go there with a but. You have to be the most disciplined person in the world. Or it's very dangerous. You'll almost always go over your budget.
Yeah.
And then I bought a big bulk 5-row Pokemon box of like dollar cards, and that lasted us like 2 years of filling dollar cards in the bottom of the showcase. We laughed that there's probably still a couple of cards from that bulk lot floating around, but those are two that stood out for me. I do remember the next year I was able to buy, this is what bums me out, I was able to buy a Tom Brady Downtown and a Tom Brady Kaboom from the same vendor, and I think I got them both for under $2,000, and that's just unheard of now.
Yeah. Well, along those same lines, knowing what you know now, knowing what has happened in each major sport or in the hobby, what's one purchase you would have made at that 2022 national?
I mean, even at the 2022, 2023, it's just the what you could get downtowns and kabooms for, and those were desirable cards back then. Like I said, I got roughly $1,000 a piece for those Brady ones, and those are easily $5,000 cards now.
Yeah.
So yeah, buying more of those, but it's just crystal ball. You could go back and buy all the Otanis you want. You could,
That's what I was gonna say. I probably saw 3 or 4 of those Otani Bowman short prints when he's carrying the bat bag. I saw about 3 or 4 of those, and I think those were going for, I don't know, $1,500 back then, and they were all in great shape. Oh my goodness, I would have get in the DeLorean and go by.
Yeah, you
all
can.
The Otanis
And the Jordan rookies. I remember, if I had the picture, I'd show it. But a guy had a big, huge picture frame. Remember, and every card that was lined around it, bottom and top, were PSA 10 Michael Jordan rookies. And I counted it up and did the math. At the time, those were going for $200,000 to $250,000 a piece. And so I counted up, and it was like 30 of them on the display, and I did the math. But those are like minimum double the price, if not triple the price now for those. And if that person still has those, it's just the National is a great spot to walk around and just get your mind blown.
Yeah. That's our friend Rick Probstein.
Oh, that's his.
That was his booth. So
yeah, and keep in mind, the amount of Mac Jones and Zach Wilsons we saw for $20,000 and $30,000. So it goes
Yeah.
both ways. You dodge some
Yeah.
bullets, you make some money, but
Any products you would have left sealed when we went? Remember, Tops had started releasing Tops Chrome baseball at the National when we
yeah,
went.
I mean, you can kind of, I mean, that's an easy question in the sense of like now looking back, anything 2018 would have been super wise to keep
Yeah.
sealed, and anything 2017, and you could buy all of those products, all those sealed products. If you want a case of Topps Chrome, it's there. If you want boxes of the most desirable products, they're there for sale. It's just the price. And back then, the price would have been high, but if you had that crystal ball, you could make a fortune saving that stuff. Welcome to another episode of the Talking Shop Podcast, episode 201. We are Jacobless today. Jacob probably going to be back with us next week, but I'm Josh from Grand Slam. We got Michael from Medium Rare Cards over on Instagram. I'm going to talk some shop with you for a little bit on, for us, a Monday, for you guys later in the week. So welcome.
So coming up today, we are asking whether PSA has become bigger than cards themselves. We'll get ready for the National, debate what cards are actually worth grading. Josh will show us what's new in the shop, and we'll wrap things up with a crazy stat. But first, this is from our friend. I say friend. He doesn't know me or you from Adam's House Cat, but
and if he did, he wouldn't like it.
That's right. Here we go.
They shut down have on raw cards out there. My opinion only, I think that the lower end raw cards are going to sell for less money on eBay and Fanatics and Golden or wherever you're buying raw cards, even private deals. The reason is people like me, the vast majority of people, I'm not saying everybody grades cards, but I'm saying a lot of people want certainty when they buy a raw card. And so they'll buy it as a raw card. They will get that card graded. Even if they want to keep it forever, they'll get it graded. And when you cannot grade your raw card, your $40 raw card, because it costs $80 to grade it, you may not want to grade that card. So set collecting is going to take a hit. PSA set registry stuff is going to take a hit. I think those types of low-end raw cards are going to sell for less because they can't be turned into more money quickly. I think, going from 3-month turnaround to 5-month turnaround to 6-7 month turnaround, whatever the hell it ended up being, I think that had a little bit of effect. I think this is going to have a big effect because it's a straight up, you ain't grading that raw card. If it's a raw card that costs you 30 and a PSA 10's worth 120, you're probably just not going to grade it. You're probably just going to wait like me. I mean, you're not going to grade it for 80. Now you're into it for 110. You're making no profit unless it's one of those cards you want to just keep in your collection. So that's issue number one. What effect does the PSA?
Thoughts, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. I just think collectors shift for a short period of time. This isn't like grading went away. He's acting like grading's gone. It's just postponed a little bit. So yeah, it might affect those smaller purchases.
I think this this accentuates playing the long game a little bit. And we always come back to this. Whenever there's a shakeup like this, it happened the last time grading went wonky. It's happened with the advent of breaking spiking box prices to the point where you've mentioned this before, to where like a box of whatever isn't supposed to be that much, but when breakers break it, it drives the price up. It really, this could have that effect of getting back to this being a hobby for the collector, of collecting stuff you love, and not just because if it's worth something, bonus, right? But collecting things you love. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. It's a bummer. It's a bummer that one of the things that really drives the hobby, which is grading, is they put a pause on it. So I don't know. Is this, as a shop owner, is this going to change anything in your business model, in your day to day, knowing that people may not be apt to buy that $50-$60 raw card because they can't get it graded?
Yeah, what I've noticed so far is more like people are looking at a raw card, still looking at its gradability, and maybe buying it to grade when grading becomes available. Like, I don't think anyone has this idea in their mind that this is going to be this super long hobby changing shutdown. It's just a little bit of a catch up mode. So it may, even before, you were buying stuff, sending it off to grade, and it was taking 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So this hasn't changed it that much. I think that might be a little bit of an overreaction on his course. But yeah, if your job is to go hobby shop to hobby shop and buy $20 cards that you can grade and get 10s and turn them into $120 cards, it's probably going to affect you. I think that's just a smaller portion of the hobby community than people think.
So other than vintage, we've talked about this before, other than vintage, and let's just say the Jordan rookies, maybe Pokemon, because you've said before Pokemon, that there's fakes of that,
right,
floating around all the time. Are there any other cards you're like, yeah, I'm not touching that if it's raw?
It's always like the Jordan rookie stuff, the highly faked cards for sure. That would be.
Do you have any of those on the top of your head, just for listeners to maybe look out for? Because now, if they're collecting, they don't have that safeguard for a while.
It's anything autographed that's not authenticated out of the box.
Great point. Great point.
Jordan rookies. It's always going to be the
in-person autos,
the big iconic cards. That's what they're faking for money. So you're not going to fake a $20 card for money. You're going to fake a $20,000 one. So yeah, and again, we have to buy raw. We can't buy based on a certain graded price. We're going to buy raw based off raw anyway.
So speaking of autos, we had an autograph heavy conversation last episode, but are the JSAs of the world, do you think they're going to see a bump because people do want to get maybe some of these in-person autos authenticated?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I think all the other grading companies are seeing those bumps. The overflow is going from PSA down to the others and clogging up the works with those smaller grading companies. But yeah, I don't know if there would be. I'm sure just the nature of the millions of people out there doing this, that those other companies, even JSA and Beckett, are probably seeing a slight bump for sure on all sorts of, whether it's memorabilia. But I think PSA is probably still doing some of those memorabilia items, right?
That's a great point. Yeah,
it's going to affect them greatly.
Yeah, I wonder if they're not grading, but maybe, and I didn't see anything, are they still authenticating, or is that still grading?
Yeah, I think those channels are still open from the last I thought. Yeah.
Okay. Josh, what is new on the shelves at Grand Slam this week?
There is a couple cool things this week. What's today? The 6th is Monday. So Wednesday, maybe about the time people are seeing this episode or by the time they've seen this, Topps Finest Baseball launches this week.
Ooh.
On Wednesday. So that's going to be a big one. This is the first time they're doing mega boxes with this product. So 3 variations: Breaker's Delight, Hobby Boxes, and Mega Boxes. We will have Hobby and Mega. We are not getting Delight, unfortunately. And then at the end of this week, Friday, you've got Topps Chrome Black Football for the first time. So that'll be a rather juicy one. We'll have that at the shop. In between them, some other things that you guys might be interested that won't be available at Grand Slam would be V-Friends Chrome Sapphire boxes. We sold V-Friends pretty well, but we will not have those Sapphire boxes. Probably not a lot of those being made. And then there's some really weird stuff that comes out. But Leaf Metal Draft Edition Baseball is also Friday. So a couple good ones. I would say the 2 highlights of the week: Finest Baseball and Chrome Black Football.
Okay, for hobby news, we mentioned it in the opener, but the National is 3 weeks away. It returns July 29th through August 2nd in Rosemont, Illinois. Let's just take a look at the website and just peruse. 1 second. Here we go. The 46th National Sports Collectors Convention at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, Illinois. Let's just take a look. So, general admission, $25. 5-day early pass. Did you say you were going to do the
so
VIP?
The VIP was sold out by the time I got mine. I got the 5-day early entry pass, so which is really all I care about, is just getting in a little earlier and not waiting in the general admission line. The other VIP perks are not something I'm super interested in.
Okay. And typically, you have a little shindig with one of your distributors. Is that going to happen again this year?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. So let's just take a look. So there's a big autograph pavilion. They're calling it the live streaming pavilion instead of the breaking pavilion this time. And this was nuts when I went to Chicago. It'll be interesting to see because this is like right in the middle of the 2 sections. We'll see if it's like expanded, because wasn't it right in the middle? And it was in front of like the stage where they were doing like panels and stuff in Chicago.
Yeah, it is. It's so big that it's like hard to digest it. Like there's a huge pavilion of breaking. Then there's another whole area with panels and stages. And yeah, it's almost like your brain can't quite, mine can't anyway. I can't map the place out in my head. It's so big.
Yeah.
So I just wander around.
It does take a while. You get sort of disoriented. For me, if you're looking at the screen there, I always try to find the when I was there, I'd find the PSA booth, and it would sort of orient me to where everything else was. Right. Big eBay booth, Topps, Panini. Look how big Panini's booth is.
Panini ain't struggling. I'm telling you.
Panini
ain't struggling. We sell this unlicensed Panini stuff so fast, it's kind of crazy.
Looks like CGC has a big booth. Look at SGC trying to snuggle up against Beckett, right next to him. Wild Card is back. Their booth when I went was huge.
I'm just curious if Tag will have a booth.
Well, look at this. Look at the Bo Jackson Battle Arena booth. How large that is.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
That's nuts. And then, of course, there's PSA, eBay, Upper Deck, Golden. Guys, if you guys are going, do yourselves a favor. Go over to Heritage Auctions just to look.
Just a museum. It's like a museum of cool stuff.
Yeah. I thought this was interesting. Did you see this down here? Walmart has a booth
Walmart.
at the National.
I think they had one last year, if I remember right.
Did they really? What did they have there? Just a bunch of retail?
Yeah, I think so. And they were doing games and giveaways, I think, too, if I remember right.
So a couple interesting stats while this, let me zoom out a little bit on this map. This map's cool. Before it was a static one, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, it was tough. You had to like pinch and zoom. You couldn't like click into it. 600 dealer booths, 500,000 square feet.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, hundreds of autograph guests. Every major grading company, every major manufacturer. You've said it before, Josh. If you can't find it at the National,
it ain't out there.
It's not out there. So, we're gonna cover some of this. We may cover some of this in Hobby 101 when we're talking about the National, but making this real personal. Looking at this map, Josh, what is your strategy?
Food court. No, I don't. I don't have a strategy. My strategy is find cool Tom Brady cards.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'll stop by like Wild Card and Leaf and a few of the distributor booths just to see people and say, hey, yeah, I don't have to do anything with PSA as of right now, so I do look for a few. They'll be in the smaller personal booths, but guys that sell bulk accessories, certain accessories that you get through my distributors, and so I'm going to try to buy some from the shop there. But yeah, I'm probably the worst one to ask about their game plan because I don't have one.
Come on, you're going to go over here and hang out with Jeff Wilson, sports card investor.
No, I'm not. I'll definitely blow out David Adams and Steel City. Man, that little triple spot right there. If you can't find Baseball Card Exchange, if you can't find the sealed product you're looking for there, something's wrong. That's just fun to look at. It's pretty crazy.
Super interesting how large that booth is, and he's catty cornered by Topps and Panini. Good for you, Jeff Wilson.
Bite your tongue, Michael. Don't you congratulate that man?
I'm not going to ask you a number to disclose, but do you have a number in your head, budget wise?
No, we'll see where my budget's at. In July.
Oh,
that can all go out the window when your distributor offers you a rebuy on something expensive that you can't pass up. So
right. Now I'm hearing you have your card shop hat on, and you have mentioned that you're looking for Brady's. Are you bringing anything for trade bait? Are you bringing cards that you don't collect but you know are valuable to try to cobble a deal together?
I'm the rare minority. I don't buy it unless I don't buy it to just trade it or resell it. I buy it to keep it, and so the things I have, I don't want to get rid of.
Okay.
My Brady sweet spot is $100 to $500 cards, so that's what I'll be looking for. If you want to get super specific, I need 2024 Topps Cosmic Chrome Tom Brady Planetary Pursuits. I need Neptune, Venus, and Eris. So wish me luck. Those are going to be hard.
Eris and not Mars?
Eris and not Pluto. I need the last three. I've got the Sun and Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, Jupiter. I need Neptune, Eris, and Uranus. Not yours in particular, but
thank you. Appreciate that. Don't need that sort of pressure. Redefine our friendship. We'll get back to the National, more of the National here in a second. But back to the PSA discussion we were having. PSA is shut down. Well, not shut down, but they're not accepting bulk submissions as of now. With that said, what sort of guidance are you giving people if they're coming in hot, Josh? They're coming in hot saying, I've got to get this graded. So what cards are actually worth grading now?
Yeah, I mean, think of it this way. You're going to send a card, it's going to be $100 to send it. And you're looking at 3 months to get that back. So that tells you your answer right there. If you need it faster, you can go 1 month with like $150, or Super Express is $350 plus, shipping and insurance. And you're looking at like 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks turnaround total. So, I mean, it narrows it down quite a bit. We've kind of suspended our sending customer cards in until PSA opens back up, because so much of ours is done at those lower rates. Doesn't mean if you really need us to send a bigger card, we will, and we've sent a few, but we're kind of on pause while they're on pause. Let's put it that way. And
right. So is it a strictly a value thing, Josh? To where it's got to be super rare, super valuable.
I mean, there's not a lot of people that want to just put a card that means something to them in a slab for $100 to $300. They're like, you know what? I can wait. I'll wait till they open back up, and I'll do it for $20, $30, $40, whatever it ends up being when they open back up.
So you're not accepting grading at all?
I mean, as a whole, we are not, unless you want to go one of the higher rates.
But even the other grading companies,
we don't typically anyway. SGC is the other one that we do. We would accept for that, just warning people that their turnaround times have been longer than normal too. So a lot of the times, those people like SGC for different reasons anyway. And one of those reasons was fast turnaround times, but that's no longer the case right now either. So
interesting. Have you been approached by anybody saying, hey, I heard you're going to the National. Do you mind dropping this off at PSA?
Don't throw that out into the ether, Michael. I have not, and I probably would not. I have no interest in doing that unless it's...
Come on. Everybody knows Josh loves waiting in line. He loves waiting in line.
And I can imagine that PSA line is going to be fun, real fun.
Loves waiting in line. If you guys are listening...
You incentivize me enough financially, then I will, which has been done before, but I have no desire to. So let's put it that way.
Speaking of the National, let's do a little hobby 101. We're calling this our National Survival Guide. But before that, if you had $1,000 to bring of just $1,000, let's call that the B word, your budget. Okay. What are you buying at the National? That's not Tom Brady. Ooh. That's not fair. You'll always default to that. I'm taking that out of your hands.
Really? You want to make it this easy for my answer?
Okay, let's narrow it. Sealed product or single?
Definitely be a single card.
Okay.
And if you've taken Tom Brady away from me, I would probably
off the table.
Probably look at I'm probably the wrong person to ask this, but
you're exactly the right person. You're conflicted. I love it.
I don't buy outside of Brady very much. I mean, you got to stick with the wisest purchases, which would be, who? Maybe Jordan. Jordan. Okay. One of the funnest things to look at the National are all of the Jordan really cool late 90s inserts.
Yeah.
There's so many out there. If you're not in that world, you'd be surprised how many cool ones that are valuable are out there, and they're all over the National. I would want to buy a couple really cool Jordans with $1,000 budget, because you can't buy a rookie or anything like that.
Right. Do you think Patrick Mahomes is a buy right now?
I was almost going to say that. I think he is. I think he is. Yeah.
Because traditionally things are gearing up football wise heading into the national. Like
Yeah.
I'm getting flashbacks of people trying to get inventory or offload inventory so they could buy football, or get football inventory so they could sell it at the national. And so it's sort of funky, right? Everybody's eyes are on the World Cup. No one's talking about American football right now. And the stinker of it is the World Cup's going to end 10 days before the national starts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
football's going to start gearing up. It's just, if I had $1,000, it's really hard for me to lay it all on the line for a young quarterback that's unproven. I've just seen it too many times backfire. So if you're a gambling man, there's a couple quarterbacks out there you could think it's their time. I'm just not a gambling man like that.
Yeah. All right, let's get to hobby 101. These are non-negotiables, right? Let's see if you can get them all. What are the non-negotiables as far as a national card show survival guide?
Comfortable shoes. Is that what you mean?
Boom. Okay. What else?
Yeah. Be careful about what you're going to carry around. If you're going to put a load of backpack, your back will be killing you. So you're kind of, when you get in there, you're in no man's land. You can't lay stuff down, put stuff down, go run back out to the car. What you bring is what you bring. So that's why I don't like to bring a bunch of stuff. I have a very empty backpack in case I need to put some stuff in. But yeah, just be cognizant of what you have to carry. Bring cash. Cash is king.
Okay.
Cell service. Remember that Brady downtown pairing that I had to buy? I had to walk 15 minutes to outside and 10 more minutes away from the building just to get a signal enough to PayPal the guy for those cards. So bring cash. Go to the bathroom. I mean, this sounds funny, but go to the bathroom and eat before you go in there. Yeah. That line to the bathrooms can sometimes be 100 people deep.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to interrupt your table browsing to have to go to the bathroom. So empty that bladder before you get there and eat something so you don't have to, because all the inconsiderate morons will take all the food court tables and lay out all their cards and do all their trading there. And they do make a big deal about that. They have signs up that says, do not use these tables for trading cards. And it gets ignored. But yeah, just waiting in those lines. So anything you got to wait in a line for. I know people like, you get in that hour earlier. As soon as you get in, go straight to what you need to do. If it's something that might have a line. You've been there. What else do you think besides comfort?
Well, there's a couple things, right? So we talked about shoes, backpack. Would you suggest the backpack with the wheels on it, or no? Because you're just going to be pissing everybody off.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. You tick everybody off, and then when you want to squeeze through places, it makes it really hard.
Yeah,
backpacks do the same thing. You're trying to squeeze through a thing, and you got a big backpack on there.
Yeah, shoulder check people. Yeah.
Sometimes the backpack is a necessary evil. It is what it is.
I would say, bring snacks, granola bars.
Yeah.
Something that's not going to melt. Look, I remember the second day we were there, like the air stopped working in one section of that place. And then everybody's deodorant stopped working at the same time. So, we kid about this, but have a budget. Have something in mind as far as at least somewhat of a ceiling. Now, if there's a life-changing card, that you've been hunting forever and you found it and you just can't cobble together a deal and you got to go over budget, then maybe, but have some sort of a budget in mind.
Probably be wise.
And it's a long week, guys. Number one, if you can be there multiple days, be there multiple days.
Yeah.
If that's part of your budget, then that's part of your budget as far as time and money.
I remember the first time I went there, it was man, I'm gonna be here for 4 days. Like, start cranking through the first day. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I mean, an entire day here. What am I gonna do the other 3 days? No, I mean, I got done at day one. I was like, I didn't even make it to that side of the room. And then after day two, you're like, man, I still didn't make it over to that. So if you take your time, you almost can't see it all, even in those 5 days. But yeah, here's the other one. Make the round. If you got a budget, you want to stay under budget, make the rounds, eyeball stuff first, and then come back for it. Because you're going to buy it, and then you're going to go to the next table or two, see something there. Oh, I need this, and buy it. And then you're going to, but you run the risk of it not being there when you come back. So if it's something that's rare, be very careful. Not very often are those cards still there when you come back. The craziest story I have is a couple years ago, going to the National. I was at a guy's booth. He had a stained glass Tom Brady. I drooled over it, couldn't quite pull the trigger on it, didn't pull the trigger on it. I came back the next year, doors open, I get in, I'm like, all right, there's a big booth right here in front of me. Go up to it. That same card is sitting in this guy's case. I don't recognize the guy. I see that same card. And I said, ooh, the stained glass, I like this one. And he says, you almost bought that one last year. And I was like, oh, this is yours. This is the same one. And he was a true salesman. He's like, you found it again. You know, it really needs to go home with you. And so I did. I was like, well, yeah, I can't pass this up again. But what are the odds out of all those millions of cards, I landed on the same card that didn't sell? And guess what? I spent $500 on that Brady stained glass card. It's easily $1,000 card now.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
This is one thing that I haven't heard a lot about, but it was a thing a couple years ago. Have you heard anything about trade nights there at the National?
Yeah. There's, I think you can not throw a rock without hitting a trade night. Probably at that.
Are they still being prohibited at the hotels in the lobbies?
It's a great question. I think they're going to organically materialize when guys sit around with their cases. But there will be plenty of them, sure, for sure.
Like the organized ones. I know, like Sports Car Collector 2 usually has a giant one that's there on site. And I went to a soccer one, and you would not believe the cards that you can see at a trade night. And you're like, wow, I can't believe this is actually here. Just 1-on-1 Messi's, 1-on-1 Ronaldo's. It was bananas. So certainly save some budget for trade nights. Some of those cards won't find their way to a dealer floor. Sometimes guys are looking to move those during a trade night and not.
And you're a true card trooper if you go card show during the day and trade night at night, because by the time I leave that place, it's like I'm ready to eat, relax, not deal with cards after that. But
portable charger, you talk about cell signal, but if you don't want your cell phone to die in the middle of anything there, I'm sure there's going to be some outlets that I'm sure they've gotten smart about that.
If you want to waste your time sitting Indian style against the wall, on the floor while your phone charges, nah, you paid good money to get into this show. Bring a portable charger. That's a great idea.
Josh, have you solved for seeing a card on the table and then because mentally I'm just fried because it's just overstimulating. How are you solving for seeing a card at the table and making sure you know how to get back to that table? Do you drop a pin to yourself? Do you take a photo of the sign? What are you doing?
I usually photo of the sign, make a hardcore mental note of the vendor that it's at. But if you're organized, drop a pin. That's a great idea. But yeah, I do the old take a picture of the booth type of thing.
Any tips if you go there as a group, but you sort of want to do your own thing?
It is very hard. You know this because we went together with some guys. It's very hard to shop a card show like that together. You have to split up because you might have a little opportunity for one person to get to the front of the table. And I might stop looking at a table full of football cards and you have no interest in finding that. And so, yeah, we often split up and then called each other and said, hey, you want to meet at the such and such booth, or look up where you're at and see what booth you're near. And I'm near this booth, or meet me at the Beckett booth or whatever it might be. But yeah, if you think you're going to go elbow to elbow with your buddy and shop at all the tables, it's really hard. It could probably,
unless you guys have identical tastes in cards. If you guys are, and then it could even be if you guys are PCing the same person, that could even be bad. You guys fighting over the same card. Anything else? Anything else for first timers that that you could think about?
Man, I think we hit a lot of them right there on the nail on the head. That's a great. If you cover all those bases we talked about, you will have a good experience.
And look, I am convinced you could go to the National and not spend a dime and have the time of your life.
For sure.
If you are a collector or just getting into the hobby, if you're just getting into the hobby, you may want to go with somebody that's been before, just to navigate some things.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are a collector and you just want to go, you can't miss it. You can't miss it as one of those bucket list sort of things. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something about. Oh, if you do buy sealed product there, one of the cool things is Topps, and I believe Panini also does this. Is you buy a product and you take it to them, and they'll open it for you because they want to make sure that you don't do it again. But they'll break the seal, and then you're eligible to get these silver packs that are for the National. Yeah. They're exclusive to the National. Are both Panini and Topps doing that again? Do you know?
I think so. The issue there is you better be ready to stand in a line, and it sells out fast. So yeah.
Stand in line and be ready for disappointment.
Yeah, and that's just not my style. So I don't even try there, but I do know a lot of people do, and they'll have a certain list of products you can buy that you can then take to them, and they will honor that silver pack with the purchase of that. So they do have to slice it open, of course, but yeah, not my style, but plenty of other people's style for sure. I'm sure they're doing it again.
And I think one more thing, I mean, we do this podcast. No one ever comes up to us at the National, only at local shows and at the shop. But if you do follow an influencer, if you do watch somebody's YouTube channel, trust me, these guys are just dudes. Go up to them, introduce yourselves. Don't be intimidated. They're collectors too. They're card nerds too. Hopefully they're the same person in person as they are on camera. There's a saying to never meet your heroes. Number one, a YouTuber should probably not be a hero. And number two, they're normal dudes. They would love to hear from you. Introduce yourselves. Put yourself out there. And as far as meeting new people, be open to that too. This is a great hobby.
Yep.
You're gonna meet some folks that just love cards, and the fact that you're there and they're there is something that you guys will have some common ground about. If you've made it this far, Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, leave a review. Josh, do you have a crazy stat for us?
I don't this week.
Oh, I'd have to throw a sound effect in there for that one.
You could count the episodes out of 201 episodes. You could count them on one hand. The episodes I don't have a crazy stat.
That's okay. That's okay. The only one that I have was here's the crazy stat on my side. That's why I don't do this. When was the very first national?
Ooh, that's a good.
What year?
I would like to know that. 1991.
Close. Usually you're like the math savant since this is the 46th national.
Oh. I didn't know it was the 46th.
So 1980 was the first national, and I can guarantee you it looked way different than it will this time.
Oh, to have an old camcorder footage of that one. Surely there's some out there.
There's got to be. There's got to be. All right, Josh, thanks for stepping out of the shop and joining me for a little bit of a podcast. Yes. Jacob, hopefully you'll be back next week. And guys, thanks for listening and watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye. Peace.